know is JPTV. Yeah, all I wanna know is JPTV. Yeah, all I wanna know is JPTV. Yeah, all I wanna know is JPTV. All I wanna know is JPTV.
When you come on my show, let me make sure that you know
all I wanna know is JPTV. All I wanna know is JPTV. Yeah.
Believe it or don't.
Feels so good to be live once again, baby. We are back. Man, JPTV is back live, back at it again. Hey, I got a couple of questions for you. Are you worried about America's future? Well, you know what's going on. You know, they say a white supremacist is on loose. Will the blacks shoot back? I don't know. Man, there's some heavy duty shit that's going on. I got some guests with me today, and we're going to explain some hot topics that's going on currently. Okay, we're going to explain some hot topics, our perspective. Okay, and you believe what you want to believe, but these are our opinions, so don't let it affect you. Okay, all right. You got to be strong. You got to be willing to take stuff as well. Okay, and we just want to discuss it. All right. Before I bring my guest in today, we do know that there something happened in Buffalo. Yeah, I'm sure all you are familiar with it by now, but we're going to go through it. Let me see. Okay. Boom. All right. Let me share my screen with you all today. So, what they're trying to stir up, and this is my opinion, right? They say that the Buffalo shooter target black neighborhoods. Okay, this is what happened today, or I don't know when it happened. I guess a couple of days ago. So this guy, we're gonna read off the article to you. I'm gonna read a little bit, then I'm gonna bring my guest in, then I'll read the other half. Okay. The white 18-year-old who fatally shot 10 people at a Buffalo supermarket. The local demographics arrived a day in advance to conduct the reconnaissance with the intent of killing as many black people as possible. Let me bring my guest in. You guys, is this an act from an actual white supremacist? What would make this guy a white supremacist? I know he's white, yeah. But why would they call him that? Why would they just call him a white supremacist?
Politics.
Huh?
That's politics.
Politics, right?
Yeah, that's all it is. I mean,
Well, you said a good thing, and election, they stirring stuff up for election time, and a certain group love to push racism, white supremacy, and police brutality. They like to really make sure you feel it when they write it and say it.
So stereotype too. It's also like based on the stereotype, like why, if a white person is gonna shoot up a black neighborhood, they have to be a white supremacist. there's no other legitimate reason that based on the stereotype. You know what I'm saying?
all I'm saying is fuck Joe Biden, because the first 100 days, I mean, he gave the Chinese people federal protection. You know what I mean?
How we get here?
I mean, that's what it is, and we still get shot down in mass and still ain't got no protection at all. None, zero. We should be federally protected just like the Chinese people are.
Well, Joe Biden has condemned the attack, calling on Americans to address the hate that remains a stain on the soul of America.
What the fuck is that? A couple words going to do for us?
Hey man, you might get watch your mouth, you might get flagged.
That 100 days already passed, and we still ain't got shit.
Well, they say that, according to this story, right?
Right.
They say that they're not going to release any names, but the kill ranges in age from 32 to 86. 3 were injured. The 3 that were injured were 20, 50, and 55. That's all the 10 that got shot. Buffalo, which is a Democratic state, they're ran by Democrats. They call this the deadliest of 2000, the deadliest mass shooting of 2022. All alleged driven by hate and racism.
You must not have heard what happened to Dylan Roof in jail.
Do you feel, as black people, that these people are on our side? You know what I'm saying? Because, people look at it and say, oh man, they lenient to us. Do you think these people are on our side talking about racism because we so much agree with it? Do we feel like, oh man, they talking about us? Yeah, they right. They say racism. That's a connection that I have. That's something that I agree with. Okay, I'm gonna pay attention to this. They're right. Like, how would they know they talking bullshit when they put those words in it that have an emotional attachment to black people?
Mm-hmm.
How are we supposed to know the difference?
We should have known the difference by now. They don't have an interest at heart. I mean, for one thing, they ain't passed no laws in our favor. That'll show you right there. You can march all you want, but if you don't change the law, you just get an exercise.
I want to bring up a point, right? It was this. They say that this individual, this white supremacist, so-called, drove from one place to another to carry out this crime. So he traveled from one area to another area, which was a supermarket, top supermarket. Travel from one area to another area to conduct this mass shooting. I want to bring something up. If you guys can remember, Frank Robert James, he was the guy. Yeah, y'all familiar with that name?
No.
Frank Robert James was the guy that had the mass shooting on the New York subway station.
Oh, the one that happened recently?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he also went from one place to another, which was the subway, to conduct this this mass shooting. And they were saying that he was saying bad things in a derogatory way to black people, the housing being affected, and he was just complaining about that, and then took into his own account to shoot up people. More than 20 people were injured. He was wearing a gas mask. He released gas canisters in the subway. 10 people sustained gunshot wounds. And,
I don't believe that bullshit.
They say 5 victims who were 18 years old and younger on the way to school when the shooting happened.
Yeah, I don't believe that bullshit.
Believe what? What you don't believe?
He did it.
That he did it?
Yep.
Oh yeah, I was hearing some people say that they just probably just found somebody and just said it was them.
Yep.
Or something
That's
like
what
that.
I believe. I don't believe that nigga did this. Why are you gonna go back to the fucking scene of the crime? Fucking idiot.
Mm-hmm.
So he was the fall guy.
He was the fall guy. He ain't do that shit. Probably even had no idea that shit even went on. You about to but wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, because somebody was saying he mad out of shape to do all that.
Exactly. That's something like this badass gas mask and army weapons. Is like, come on, get the fuck out of here, man. They're stupid enough to go to the same place you just shot the fuck up. Come on, man. Who you know would do that?
Well, you can't put nothing past anyone these days.
Man, ain't nobody that fucking stupid. Now you gotta be blithering like a blithering idiot to just to go back to the same place you just shot the fuck up and get caught. Like you gotta be a blithering idiot.
But that's what people do though. Even murder scenes, they say the murderer always go back to the crime scene.
Okay.
I don't know about that. Honestly, I think if a criminal ever,
I ain't gonna say I committed no crime, but I didn't drop some weed or something, and I didn't try. After the police pat me down, I didn't went back and try to find that motherfucker.
That's different.
if a criminal ever, yeah, I don't even understand criminology, but I guess maybe sometimes they go back to look.
Look at what? You know you just killed motherfuckers. What you gonna go back for? Oh, I know he's dead. Oh, I know he's dead. I know I killed her. Come on, man. What you going back? What you going back for? That was a cool setup, man. I mean, that's some pure bullshit.
And and that's true.
So
You've heard a lot of times about cases where somebody gets accused of something they didn't do because they had to find somebody to put say they did it anyways. So that makes sense.
Well, I mean,
it's tough. It's funny. Like that's actually here in New York. That happened here in New York, right?
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
it happened here in New York, right?
Because you're breaking up a little bit. Let me read this off to you. Buffalo, New York, reported one of the highest murder rates in the U.S. The U.S. murder rate is at the highest level in nearly 2.5 decades. There were 21,570 murders nationwide in 2020, up to nearly 30%. Previous year, the largest. Okay, let me go down to where Buffalo is among the U.S. cities with the highest homicide rates. There were a total of 61 murders reported in the city in 2020, or 24.0 for every 100,000 people, well above the national homicide rate of 6.5 murders per 100,000. So what I'm trying to say is when these murders happen, why don't black people get excited and march and protest when all the other crimes happen? But when a white person does it, they automatically react into a vengeful way. Is it something that we have against? Well, not we. Is it something that blacks have against? Not most, not all. Do they have something against white people?
No, we just adopted their mentality. Like they hate us, so we hate us too. That's basically it. Subconsciously, of course, but.
So Jay,
Yeah.
what about you with this? With the numbers of the homicides in Buffalo, but this one striked
homicide again.
Somebody got shot. Somebody got killed
by like another person.
A violent crime. Yeah. I shoot you.
And your question is, what's my thought on the amount of it? Where?
New York, Buffalo, New York, where the shooting happened today. The shooting happened in Buffalo today. So
you're saying like you're saying in that community, there's a lot of it that happens already, but because it was okay. You know that there's like that whole concept of like accountability. You know what I'm saying? So for example, like I'll give an example. Like like let's say you have a family. Let's say all of in a neighborhood. It's like a family, right? and you'll ignore the damage the family members are doing to each other. But if somebody outside of the family come and do the same thing to somebody else, then the family get together to demonize that person. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So it's like, imagine like, let's say, two siblings always fighting each other, beating each other up. You know what I'm saying? Badly. I'm talking about like badly. Abusing one. And then now let's say that one that be abusing the other sibling, right? When they find out somebody else did it that's not within the family, it's like, oh, nah, you can't do that to my sibling. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, yo, you do the same thing to your sibling. What's the difference? Oh, they not me. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, I'm black, they black. We could do it to each other, but they not black. They can't do it to you. You know what I'm saying? It's like that.
Yeah. It is. And we were talking about this earlier about the color thing, how we go. We so easily move. By the color thing.
Hmm.
I did that was one of our topics right there. I want to know, why are black people so easily moved when stuff happens like this? It is,
Say it again.
why are black people so emotional when this happens?
When what the shooting happened?
Yeah.
More like
And,
subconscious.
and they're so willing to be used. They're so willing to be used.
Stupidity.
Well, remember, you have to understand. One thing we got to understand about society is that there's still a small percentage of people who are really thinking. You know what I'm saying? I think it was a late Bob Proctor that passed away. You know Bob Proctor. I remember one time he said a lot of people think they're thinking. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So there's the people that's really thinking, and then there's the people that think they're thinking, and then there's the people that's not thinking at all. Our community consists of more people who think that they're thinking. So because they think they're thinking, they think that they're woke, but they're all based on they're really all wired with subconscious triggers. You know what I'm saying? And if you just know what just those subconscious triggers are, you can get what type of reaction you want out of them. Just as long with the same people who ain't really thinking.
Okay. Well, guys, you know what time it is.
It's time to shift gears.
Right now, we're going to take a deep dive back, and we're going to try to clear some things up a little bit. Information that we ran across. Everybody take a deep breath. So, we're going to discuss why Black African Americans, so-called, blacks in America, why were we so fascinated with Egypt?
Fascinated with what?
With Egypt.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Throughout the whole.
Oh, actually, I do know because
Africa is
I
large.
think,
So
I think because Egypt is like one of the civilizations that has the most, like it was like actually like a city. You know what I'm saying? Like where like things, there's more like documentations and stuff like that you could find there, like the hieroglyphics, the what do you call it, the statues, the pyramids. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Compared to other
Pyramids. There were
compared to other places.
Yeah. What about you, Kufu? Why do you think we stuck to only Egypt? And I'm gonna give my opinion.
I guess it's just because it was a culmination of all the cultures, not from Africa, and and its surrounding areas also, and it culminated in that one spot. And on top of that, one of the 8 7 wonders of the world is the pyramids, and we built it. and it's still there. It was the only one of the world that's still there. Why not?
We're gonna check.
Aren't there pyramids in Mexico, or those don't really count?
What is
There's
the world?
pyramids in Sudan.
But they're not as big and as old as those.
Okay, the size, yeah.
They're not. Yeah, it's not as old.
And they're so precise, where it's mathematically correct to the Earth, to the lines of the stars. It has so much mathematics within the pyramid itself. Like, it's beyond those other pyramids, even though the other pyramids maybe even I think some are even bigger than the Great Pyramids, but they're not as complex. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they have the whole inside and stuff like that.
Exactly. They're just not as complex or have much thought going into them, whereas they're lining up with certain things for certain reasons and producing certain mathematical computations, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
And I think from that, those African Americans would like basically see that as like a pinnacle to say, hey, see, we are great because this exists and we know we came from Africa.
Well, think about it. Egypt gave rise to the Greeks. Basically, they inspired the Greeks, and the Greeks basically inspired the rest of the world. So it's basically the Egyptians started it all. Even the culture we have today was basically predicated on them. So if you think about it, however you want to look at it, we are the source, point blank and simple.
So let's go. Hold on.
I'll play that.
Let's talk about. Let's go there and let's see who are the modern day Egyptians. And do any of you have any idea on who are the modern day Egyptians or the descendants of the ancient Egyptians?
Yeah, with all the mixing and interbreeding between nations and shit like that, I don't really know.
They're both there. The Arabs and pure blood Egyptians are still there. Just small, very small traces, very, very small traces of them are still there. But the majority, 99% Arab. The Arabs.
Yeah, because they came over to help them or something.
No.
Let's go there. Let me share something with you all. I don't know if you read it, but we're gonna go through it on here. Egypt Independent. It's an article that came out.
I know. That's what I just said. I know that. They're not.
DNA analysis proof. So after over 10 years of analyzing DNA samples from hundreds of people, the National Geographic Genographic Project surprisingly uncovered the fact that Egyptians are not Arab, and most of them believe. The study presented graphs that show the global genetic makeup of nationals in each country. Okay.
So a lot.
Okay. Go ahead.
So one thing that's going to probably confuse people is the word Egyptian. That's going to confuse a lot of people because they don't know which time period to go back and forth to.
Okay. These help answer people's questions about ethnicity, race, and overall origins of the human population. As the graph below shows, only 17% of Egyptians are Arabs, while 68% of the indigenous population is from North Africa. 4% are from Jewish ancestry. 3% are from East African origins. Another 3% from Asia Minor, and 3% are South European. So what time period could they be talking about here?
That's too much. That's too much going into history. I mean, maybe Khufu knows. I don't know.
Yes, I do.
I mean, actually, we should yeah. He's want to call himself Khufu, anyways.
So hold on. Let me finish reading this. As ancient populated migrated from Africa, they passed first through Northeast Africa, then to Southwest Asia. The Northern African and Arabian components in Egypt are representative of the ancient migratory route, as well as later migrations from the Fertile Crescent back into Africa. With the spread of agriculture over the past 10,000 years and migrations in the 7th century with the spread of Islam from Arabian Peninsula. So that must have been the infiltration, right?
Mm-hmm. No,
But they say these people have been migrating back and forth for over the past 10,000 years. So the East African components in Egyptian genes reflect the localized movement of the navigable Nile River, according to the National Geographic Genographic Project.
all right. You might want to make the long story short here.
Right. So, okay. So let me go down here. The DNA samples prove that Kuwait are mostly Arabs, and their genetic makeup is as follows: 84% of Kuwaits are Arabs, 7% are from Asia Minor, 4% are North Africans, and 3% from East Africa. So when they check in the DNA, most of us, we're probably from West Africa, right? And they had a small population of the Tunisian people, the lowest percentage from Arab descent. 4% are Arabs, 88% are North Africans. So when they infiltrated, what's we call it? They didn't come in there. They weren't too heavy to change anything too heavy, right?
Mm-hmm.
5% are from Western Europe and 2% from West and Central Africa. Only 2%. So if you say that we were there,
What time period are you talking about?
okay.
That's the problem. That's why, like I said, you're gonna get into problems when you don't know the time period of what you're talking about.
So the time period of the indigenous Egyptians, right?
Mm-hmm.
We need to talk about the indigenous Egyptians, right?
But see, here's the problem you're gonna have with that. Like I said, you don't have enough samples of the indigenous population of Egypt during the time of whatever the fuck you're talking about to have a viable sample to base that off of. So you can't say 10,000 years ago there was an admixture of in the Egyptian population, but when you don't have a sizable sample to make that claim,
Besides DNA sample, right?
sizable DNA, you don't have that. You don't have that. You're only going off papers, books, or whatever. You don't have a sizable DNA sample of the original Egyptian population to say, okay, well, there's admixtures of this. There's people coming over from here. You don't have that. So you're basing off your DNA off modern DNA migrations. That's all you have. And on top of that, the routes that you're talking about, that's the route that facilitated trade on land. That doesn't account for the sea or the ocean. You understand? So there's so many variables that you have to account for that that is almost kind of pointless. It's just giving you a modern day snapshot of what Egypt is now. That's all it's doing. It can't give you a snapshot of what Egypt was 10,000 years ago. You can't do that.
Over 10,000 years.
Over 10. Like I said, you don't have enough bodies to do that. You know what I mean?
So would you believe because these folks always digging for something.
Oh, might I add, that's what Ngozi was saying. Also, you don't have a sizable enough sample to make that kind of claim. You know what I mean? You just don't have it. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. Well taken. Let me and this is stuff that we're just going through and just analyzing it. I do want to share something else with you as far as DNA is concerned. But I want to ask you, as far as indigenous Egyptians, who would you consider like one of the Ramses, or was it like Amenhotep? Like what dynasty do you think Tatan?
I mean, like I said, they left the pictures of who were interacting with them on the wall. I mean, it's there. It's not like they're trying to hide it from you. Like, they dealt with white people, they dealt with the Asians or Arabs, and they dealt with Africans, and they dealt with themselves. It's on the wall. It's not like it's, you know what I mean, hidden. It's just, like I said, they left it on the wall for us to figure it out when we got here. Here we are now,
Trying to figure it out.
trying to figure it out.
Let me share this one thing with you because I know we got time limit. This is what I as far as the DNA history of Egypt, and they could be wrong. I don't know.
They are wrong. Just the fact that they use the word Egypt. Just to go ahead.
They try to follow the mitochondrial DNA, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're trying to find. So, the 20th dynasty. Let's put it on here.
But so they're probably just taking samples of the mummies during those dynasties, right?
Yeah.
Right, but still, you don't have a sizable enough population to make any claims for real. You're just taking a DNA sample of one person during that time. That doesn't account for the rest of the population.
These different times,
It doesn't matter.
Right, you said for the rest of the population?
It doesn't matter. Whatever specific time you're pointing at, you don't have a sizable enough sample of any time to make a sizable claim. You just don't have it. You don't have enough bodies.
Not even the up higher ones, huh?
It doesn't matter how far you go back. You need DNA. You need bodies. You need material. You don't have it. You just have one body, and basing that one body and making a generalized claim off everything. You can't do that. Like if you go back to, I think I'm not gonna say I'm quoting, but if you go back to Ngosi's thing, that's what he's saying. You don't have a sizable enough sample to make these claims that you're saying. You just don't have it. So you're saying, right, in essence, is wrong. So you're just basically, like I said, you're making a generalization off of one person during that specific time.
Those were 1, 2, 3, 4.
It doesn't matter. You can choose. You have 100 of them. It doesn't matter. But each of them died at a specific time in the history. And
right.
If you have a sizable portion of human bodies during those specific times in history, you can't make a claim to say, "Oh, during this time it was all Africans. During that time it was all Asians and Africans." It was you don't have the bodies to say that during these specific times.
So who's to really say who was there?
We already told you who was there.
You saying on the walls?
We said it on the walls. Period. Everybody that's doing something looks like you and me. That's it.
Right. But just because they look like you, they may not be you. Right?
Who else, who else has kinky hair and dark skin? And
most of them wasn't kinky hair. They had like curly, stringy hair. Well, most of the mummies did. I don't know about the recipes, but most of the mummies did. King Tut and all these Akhenaten and Queen T and all them people.
Skin.
They all had brown skin, but they all had stuff to cover their hair with.
So
let me run this past you because I want you to hear this real quick.
You got the pallet? Yeah, they trying to flex on us, huh?
Yeah, shout out to Chief.
Hey, you got the pallet, King?
Yeah, I have one right here. So, can you see it?
They
Hold on, let me. I was trying to pull something by myself. Let me come back to StreamYard.
King Sosa said they debate whether the Nama's palette is real.
Who said that?
I
Sosa?
am King Sosa.
Sosa in there wilding out right now,
Am I supposed to be sharing the screen right now, Coop?
The Nama's palette, yeah.
man.
Now, Ms. Palette, 'cause I want to show y'all something. There's something going on this palette.
Hold up.
And
The
it's
palette, what's that? Can you see it?
Oh yeah. Now look, you see that creature with the 2 long necks with the rope around his neck,
Whatever
the
they call it.
sarcopods, right?
Yeah.
That comes from the Near East, and the Near East is called the Jasper Cylinder. Now you see those 2 dudes that's holding a rope around his neck with the afros?
Yeah.
Who that?
Y'all see the 2
On
brothers
the
right
left
there?
side, on the left one? This
Yeah,
one
yeah,
right
That's
here?
holding the animals.
No, with the sarcopods, and you see those 2 guys with the afros holding the rope
Oh,
around
yeah.
their neck?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
holding
yeah,
animals.
right here. Yeah.
Guess who those guys were?
Who was that?
Those were the first people that you seen getting killed on the battlefield palette. So it was a struggle going on with people who was already in from.
Wow.
Right.
Oh, shit.
You see
Oh,
that?
shit.
Damn. I seen it that quick.
Let me go back. Wait, let me go back to the screen.
Now,
All right. These surfboards right here.
that's from the Near East, and the Near East is called the Jasper Cylinder, Jasper cylinder, right?
Okay.
Those 2 guys with the afro, if you look at an older palette than this, it's called the battlefield palette. Those type of people were being killed by these other types of people. That dude you see that's in Narma's hand, that Asiatic or North African,
So
that's
let me ask you-
what it's
let me
been.
ask you-
Those were Near Eastern people. That
Let
was
me
there
ask-
way before when people try to say that those were Hyksos.
Wait, let
Those
me
were
ask you
Asiatics
something.
or North Africans has been in the Delta for thousands of years, bro.
Wait, let me ask you something.
So hold on. So you saying Nama was aligned to those Asians?
No, Narma was from Upper Egypt. He wasn't from Sudan. He was from Tetan area in Upper Egypt.
Right.
Tetan.
Right.
But the people he's from the Nakata period. Now the Mesopotamian population comes in the second half of the Nakata period, even though they were already in the Delta. If you look up something called the battlefield palette, you will see those same
Let's
type of
do
people
that.
with the rope around that dude's neck being chained up and killed. It's called the battlefield palette. BATTLEFIELD palette. Check it out.
Who are those people on that palette?
Those, the same type of people that Nama was that reconquered the land before he unified Upper and Lower Egypt into Tamari. Look at that. Look. See them getting killed? Look at the battlefield palette. They getting killed. Those same people that you see getting killed under Narma, they revived Egypt and unified a land when you see them with the rope around the neck when Narma unified Upper and Lower Egypt.
All right, so now let's use this palette in contrast to the other palette.
Oh, so you saying Nama had put the Asians back into control?
He dominated the Asiatic that was already
I got it.
in the north.
Now I got what you said. Okay.
Okay, so these people up here, I don't know if y'all can see my
with the afros.
all right. With their hands behind their back, you can see they being ran out somewhere, right?
They're being killed. They're being ran out by other groups of people.
Who are these people? They're Asiatics?
No, those are North Africans. Those are people of North Africa. At that time, I would call them a proto-Bija type. I wouldn't call them Bija, a proto type. That's what I always talk about. That's why he was saying when I say Ethio-Somali, not literal Somalians. I'm saying in morphology, Ethio-Somali type, proto-Bija type. Not even Cushitic at that time. They're still distinct from us.
They look more like the Armana people in Ethiopia, them type of people.
No, they're not even. No, hell no. The Armana was genetically far from. No, that the Armana was mixed with that, but no, the Armana was already mixed with those Neolithic Eurasians that already absorbed into the early Green Sahara before going.
Okay, so now I'm gonna go back to the Nama palette, right? Real quick. Who are these people down here underneath him?
The people that Narma was conquering when he reconquered Egypt or reconquered the area that we know is Tamari.
Right, so we don't know what group of people that.
No, we don't. But that guy that he holding in his hand, those are the Asiatics and Mesopotamians.
Okay.
I found the source.
Go ahead.
Okay, hold on.
All right. So let me get out of this. Hold on.
All right, look, you about to. I want you to see this.
Hey, send that to me when you get a chance.
I did. I sent it to you.
I think they was fighting Nubians.
In a way?
On your Facebook.
I do too. It's on red. What's funny?
No, because I just dropped the link in the chat that says Nama is what moved those people out. And they didn't come back until they were called different groups, such as Cushites. And the first attestation of a Cushite, they were still the Egyptians' enemies.
Can y'all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
It says World History and Armor. Hello?
Yeah, we can see it.
We can see you, bro.
Okay, so we're talking about Narmer here. This is
What does it say?
this is the world history. It's like, is that what you were looking at, Ron?
I think so. Let me see.
There we go. They're gonna say your sauce is poor.
I mean, you know, but it's many sources. Here we go. He said Narmer, he led military expeditions through Lower Egypt to put down rebellions and expanded his territory into Canaan and Nubia. He initiated large building projects, and under his rule, urbanization increased. There's plenty of sources letting you know that after he united the lands, he went into other territories.
So
And
can I share my
expanded their land. He expanded his land, he expanded their land and was running shit.
Okay, so I want to share mine now. Can I do that real quick? I just
Yes,
want to
sir.
show one thing because I got to highlight it. This, share. This one. Can you see that? The A group flourished. See that? Until it was destroyed by Pharaoh.
Let me put it up there. Let me add it. Okay, there we go.
You do that.
Can't see it good, but you can go ahead and read it. We trust you.
The A group flourished until it was destroyed by pharaohs of Egypt's first dynasty around 3100. Much of northern Nubia was not inhabited for centuries
So we
after,
got 1 day to 31.
at least because of Egyptian military action. So it's saying Egyptians took over and ran Nubians out.
Craig
Of the
Scruggs.
first dynasty.
Craig Scruggs, Narmer Talent
So-
was not uniting Sudan with Egypt. Y'all gotta stop this.
Is that what he's saying?
Jesus.
That
Chief
what he-
Excellent Aku, can I say something right quick, man? I know you guys going there, but can I say something real fast?
Yeah, go ahead.
I see this guy Armchair a lot talking crazy.
Hey, don't
And he
do
wants
it.
me to
Don't
say-
do it.
Let's not have that conflict.
No, I'm not gonna disrespect the brother. I just want him to hear my answer because he's saying, so some people think that I come off contradictory, and I don't.
Right. Okay.
What I'm trying to tell people is that when someone asks me if Egyptians was black or white, I don't play those games when it comes to Egypt because I understand that Egypt was a zone of confluence.
Okay.
They range. Were they Negroid? No, they were not. Were they Congoid in the sense of Negroid like Yoruba, Igbos or whatever? No, they wasn't
No.
those type of people that we descend from directly. They wasn't
No,
Fulani.
we was
But when it comes to Egypt, their skin tone range like it does today, from light to dark. So for me to be a person that antagonizes people, especially like racists, I don't care what race,
I just said.
Afrocentrics or Eurocentrics, I will antagonize people, and I say they was black just to piss people off. And if I want to piss off a pseudo Afrocentric, I say that they was Mediterranean. So my stance is they range. Were they Negroid? No, they were not. Did they have mixed limb proportions? Yes, they did. It's a transcontinental country. My answer is not contradictory or confusing. It's reality, bro.
Right.
They were not homogenous. But were they us in Western Central Africa? No, they were not. So that's my answer, Wheelchair. I'm not insulting you. I'm just giving you a straight answer.
So I wanna say something. I
So-
wanna kind of
So I'm gonna send you the link to that, and you know, and they go through different sources and stuff. Shout out to them, man, on the Chief X channel, man. Let me review this, but yeah, check it out, man. And man, it was just some good information. And I mean, these people might be wrong. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But it was some good information, and I know these guys get it in with the information. You know, and I hear it, and I go check it. You know.
So I'm about to go do.
Yeah, he said it's about to. Yeah, I'm about to too, man. What a great show, man! And peace to the people out there. I'm gonna break this channel down and so they be a little increments for the people. Treat people like you want to be treated. Peace.